So waste colonialism, it's a term that's in really wide circulation now, I would say, within certain communities, but it was first coined a long time ago in 1989. And the United Nations Environmental Program, the Basel Convention Working Group. And it was coined specifically by African nations who are, especially on the West Coast, but a number of them, who are raising concerns about the disposal of hazardous wastes, including but not limited to electronic waste, by high GDP countries in the global north to low GDP countries, including a lot of Africa. And so they coined the term. There's also related terms like toxic colonialism, nuclear colonialism, that sort of stuff. And they're all about the same sort of power dynamics, whereby certain countries and regions and organizations gain access to other people's land through waste. So there's a lot of different definitions of colonialism, a lot of different types of colonialism. There's internal, external, extractive, settler, there's a bunch of different types. What they all have in common is settler access to indigenous land for settler goals. And so that's at the core of both waste colonialism and also decolonial science. So there's a bunch of different ways that waste is embroiled historically and in the present day in acts of colonialism. So so one of the ways that we can talk about it is in terms of plastics. After they've been produced and they're out on the land, a lot of industry sort of, like, the point of disposability is that you send them one way and they never come back again, and that requires land, right? It requires a sink. The growth paradigm, the packaging, the disposable paradigm is entirely based on using sinks, and those sinks belong to people. Increasingly, those sinks include things like the oceans, which are not empty and without relations. The global north, especially for things like PCBs and plasticizers and plastics themselves, and things like this. So needing a sink, human bodies, etc., that's an act of colonialism. And it doesn't have to be indigenous bodies or indigenous land, although people like me would say that all of North America, Africa, New Zealand, etc., that is indigenous land. But having access to that land, no matter who's got land title to it, for a sink, that is straight up colonialism.